Hey legend, I'm Tom Rob from Life is the Way. You look amazing and let's chat about image perception. If you guys are just new here, welcome aboard. I am a motivational speaker, life coach and wilderness guide, and I'm stoked on sharing content that makes people feel better about themselves. And yeah, hopefully that's you. How good. Anyway, a couple of days ago I did a video on this on my Instagram page, so watch that real quick. If you've seen it, skip it, and then we'll tuck straight into the video. Right, let's talk about image, shall we? For 15 years now, I've been speaking professionally to corporate companies, high school students, teachers, parents, and the general public. I've had loads of great feedback and testimonials. However, my engagements have just not been as frequent as I would love for them to be. The question I want to know is, why is this? Image! 10 years ago, my mum told me that I needed to take better care of my appearance. She said that I needed to dress to impress, whatever that means. 5 years after that, my best mate Pat told me that if he was a principal at a school, that he'd never hire me because I'm too scruffy, I don't look the part, and my Instagram isn't professional enough. Every time I heard this, I was pissed off to no end. I rebelled hard because I wanted to believe so badly that it didn't matter what you looked like or what you wore, that people would just love you for you. Let me tell you what I've learned about that. You don't need to look good to be liked, but you do need to look good to be hired. Companies have an image, and if you don't match that image, you got no hope. Furthermore, this image isn't just you in real life, it's your website and all other platforms of social media that you exist on. Speaking isn't even the issue for me, it's about actually getting booked in the first place. My felt sense is that these businesses check out my unruly, grammatically incorrect and hardly aesthetic Instagram page and don't even give me a chance. To be honest, I'm really not that surprised. I've decided to take a little bit more pride in the way that I choose to show up here. And that means looking a little less like that and a little more like this. Thanks for your support. Big love. Right, image perception. This to me feels as important, if not more important, than niche and branding/marketing. Now for me, I've got a love-hate relationship with social media, which looks like coming off it for weeks on end and then getting back on real hardcore and then coming off again. And it's not conducive, that's for sure. And I think the longer that I stay off, the harder I find it to get back on, if that makes sense. And I've seen a bunch of people of late doing, a reel a day for a whole year. I thought, what a great way to commit myself to really achieving some pretty big goals on the platform, and ideally with the intention to share more of my work and engage with more people. I mean, isn't that what we're all here to do? Like, you want to gain someone's attention, hopefully to share something that you believe so strongly in that it's worthy of taking the time out of your day to do exactly what I'm doing right now. And so I started the reel a day, and I had this thought, which was, what if my videos are deterring my audience rather than calling them in? And the reason I thought that is because more often than not, as you saw back in that Insta video, I can be a little bit of a scruffy guy, unless I'm on stage. If I'm on stage doing a talk, I look sharp. But outside of that, my beard can be pretty big, hair long and messy, wearing a beanie, big ski jacket, as you might have seen in a couple of videos, just not looking as good as what I could. And by virtue of that, you don't want to stay longer on a video that just doesn't feel nice or aesthetically pleasing. You think of people's accounts that have like really nice curated thumbnails, YouTubers, I've got them written down. My favorites, Stephen Bartlett, Ed Lawrence, Ali Abdul, Gerald Undone, Peter McKinnon, Mark Waters, all of these people, on every one of their videos, their thumbnail is amazing and their backdrop is next level, like next level. And all they've done is chuck a couple of lights around, not even expensive ones, like regular lights. I think Mark Waters has like a mountain bike somewhere in the back of here, is like a cool road bike or something. And all of these things that they do make you want to stay longer. I'm more inclined to scroll someone's Instagram page if I find it aesthetically pleasing than what I would do if I didn't find it aesthetically pleasing. And so for this reason, I actually think that image is fucking super important. And if you're kind of not hitting your target audience, or you haven't got retention rate on your videos or anything like that, I would kind of ask yourself, as I've been asking myself, you know, how is your image? I've been sitting here for an hour before this video started trying to make it look as good as possible. And to be honest, I don't even know if it does. I'm pretty sure this side of my face is pretty dark, and I might have to invest into some more like reflective lights or something to make that happen. But I guess my point is that it's important. And what I would hope is that you watching, if you are a content creator of some sort, you are wanting to gain people's attention to share something that you believe strongly about. And if you believe in it so strongly, then I think it's worth making your backdrop and yourself and your social media look nice. You know, it's like walking into an Apple shop. You don't have to love Apple to know that walking in there feels pretty good. It's spacious, it's clean, it's tidy. The other analogy I find, which is quite good, remember like living in a share house? And back in the day, you know, maybe in your 20s or whatever, there'd be like a house party, and it was your share house that had the house party. And the next morning, you wake up and you would normally gravitate to whoever's room was the biggest and the tidiest and the nicest. And you'd move in there with a blanket, you in your tracky pants and your slippers, and you'd lean up against their wall all hungover, and you're like, oh my God, how fucking good was last night? And that person whose room it is, they're in bed just like, I know, oh my God, it was so good, right? We gravitate to attractive spaces, nice spaces, places that feel good. And so I think that's why it's important. And I haven't got that, right? Like, I'm not sitting here as a content creator that's got it all figured out. I'm like sharing this because I need to hear it for myself, right? And I share content based on mental health and wellness and ego work and inner child work and psychotherapy and all these different kinds of things. Ultimately things, like I said, that hopefully make you feel better about yourself. You know, it's like you could look at image perception almost like academic language, and this could rustle some feathers, but I think, you know, there are certain articles that we had to read at university when I was doing my outdoor ed degree, and the language was so academic that for me and most people in my class, we didn't really understand what we were reading. And so I said to the teacher, like, who is the author writing this for? And she was like, well, everyone that works in the outdoors, everyone that works in the industry and needs to hear this stuff and is interested in this stuff. And I said, well, too bad for them, because the language is so in-depth that we don't even understand it, right? It's like, what's the point in creating a piece of literature if your readers can't read what it actually says because the language is too technical? To circle back around, what's the point in sharing all of this amazing content that you believe in if people aren't even staying on your page long enough to check it out because it's not aesthetically pleasing? You feeling me? Right? This is what I'm talking about. You want to start making things clean. And I think, where is he? Ed Lawrence, he's got a great video on this. I might try and link it down in the comments. It's unreal. I think Mark Waters does as well. He's got some good content too. They've all got good content, but what they have in common is great thumbnails, great backdrops, and of course, their content is all next level too. So that's a really good thing to think about, I think. The other thing to this is, for me, where it comes from, and I've been navigating this for the last 3 weeks as I kind of move through what feels like a complete rebrand and restructure, because if I'm changing the thumbnails and the image, I'm ultimately changing the brand, right? To something that looks better. And for me, you know, I believe that when it comes to us as children, with our parents, we either conform or rebel. Now, my scruffiness and my, what would you call it? Like resistance to change when it comes to looking nice all of the time, I think stems from my mum. Because this woman, this beautiful, caring, kind, amazing mother, was so intense when it came to stand up straight, socks up, look good, dress to impress, get a full-time job, find a wife, get a house with a white picket fence, like just full in the system, you know? And you'll never get a girlfriend looking like that. When are you going to get a real job? Like all of these things, just like judgment after judgment after judgment. Love ya, mum, wherever you are, I really do. But as a child and teenager, I strongly rebelled against that way of being. And I still really don't agree with that way of parenting. Like, naturally it comes from a loving place, yes. But, you know, I remember being in town one day and her looking at someone that was looking pretty, what would you say? Like alternate. Awesome, I think, but like mohawk, earrings, nose rings, chains that went from the nose to the earring, all the things. And she said, Jesus, Tom, look at that scuzzer. And I was like, I fucking cracked the shits and was like, Mum, oh my God, are you fucking serious? They're right there. And she was like, what? Like, and, you know, stormed off in the middle of the mall and had a big go at her and all of these things, because and I said this in the video, what I want to believe so badly is that people will be loved just for being themselves, no matter what they wear or how they look. And I really feel strongly about that. And I think, like I said again in that video, that is true. Like you can, sorry, pointing, very rude. You can still have all the most amazing friends in the world looking however the fuck you want to look, but you will not be hired if you don't look the way that the people that are hiring you want you to look. It's like I said again, like I don't think that my frequency in engagements, right, frequency of speaking gigs has been as big as what it could be, because I feel like people jump on my Instagram page and go, nah, scruffy dude. I live in a bus full time, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? I had another speaker say to me, like, a guy, JT Fox, incredible. Confidence could be misconstrued as arrogance, but, you know, I like him. And he said to me once, business is a game and you'll never get in looking like shit. Like, true story. And then the next time I saw him speak, he was like, you're like a Ferrari on the, you've got a Ferrari engine, but your outside just needs a little bit of doing up, you know? And also he said, why would people buy anything from you, like your coaching program or book you for a talk, if you're like living in a bus, you know? Hey, Banj, give me a minute, mate. I'm almost done. Love you. Banjo's back, the dog. We're currently house sitting at the moment, so it's nice to change things up and be out of the bus. So ultimately what I'm saying is that part of me that rebelled so strongly against my mum, I think, is still pretty real for me right now. It's that part still exists, you know? And when people say you need to look better or sharpen up or change your Instagram or change your image, naturally I get defensive. And I think whenever I get defensive about anything, i.e. triggered, more often than not, it's because I'm wrong. I mean, it's either because I'm wrong or I'm so right. In between, I'm fine with it. Like if it's just a regular comment that just washes over me, I'm all good. But if I'm defensive or triggered, it's because I'm either right or wrong. And in this case, I'm wrong. And I think on that note, even having the humility to admit that maybe you're wrong, to admit that there might be a better way of doing things, to admit that the way that you've been going about your business, your Instagram, your social media, your relationship, whatever, to admit that maybe it could be different. Maybe it could be better, right? Like, what a courageous thing. Hello. Can you guys see this? Is this in frame? What a courageous thing and an honorable thing to be so willing to admit, you know, to take off your armor and to put your guard down and be like, yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe things could be different. And so And so I've really rebelled. Can you give me a minute? I love you, but we'll just stay there. And so I've been resistant to change. I've been resistant to changing my Instagram, changing my look, looking sharper. And it's one of the reasons why I think more often than not, I look a bit scruffy, to be honest. And I think the final thing that I'll say here is in one, in all. And so what that means is, because I don't take a huge amount of pride in the way that I look all of the time, and it's a little bit scruffy, my space in the bus is a little bit messy. It's just, it's all across the board, it's all a bit scruffy. I'm a bit scruffy, my bus is a little bit messy. When I work, it's not as nice as it could be. And then I clean it, right? Clean the space and make it look amazing. And all of a sudden, I love it. And I'm like, this is so much better. Why don't I keep it like this all the time? And then I shave my beard and I'm like, I look so much more professional. Why don't I just do this all the time, right? There's so many great feelings that come from cleaning up a space, cleaning up myself, cleaning up my image, so to speak. And so it's all really important. And I think, really, for the moment, that's all I want to speak to on all of this. And so, yeah, my plan is to hopefully share more content in the future. If you really liked this, let me know. I know it's pretty raw. I don't know how it looks yet. Hopefully it's clean, not too dark, and you enjoyed it, and you gained some gold nuggets of wisdom for yourself. If you did like it, click the subscribe button, as all these YouTubers invite you to do. I'm not telling you, I'm inviting you, and hopefully I can share more great content. Shoot me your email address, and you can DM me on Instagram, Life is the Way. Website is lifeistheway.com.au. If you're a business and you want me to come and do a talk, reach out, give me a buzz, we can have a yarn. Like I said, a big part of this is that when I ask myself, what's the reason for not having frequent engagements, frequent talking gigs, speaking gigs rather, it has to be something around image, marketing, or niche, because once I'm in, right, which feels really good to be able to say this, but once I'm in with a company, it's great. They invite me back, I speak to different teams within their cohort, and it feels amazing, but it's getting the gigs in the first place, which is what I'm struggling with. And so that's where I come back, and rather than point the finger and be like, fuck them or whatever, right? There's always three fingers coming back at me. So what can I change? Because this isn't happening to other people, is it? So again, it's just, I share that last little bit just quickly. Don't be playing the victim and being like, it's their fault. It's not. There's something that you're doing wrong, just like there's something that I'm doing wrong, and I have to be willing to admit that and see that for myself. So I think that's it. Anyway, in summary, it feels nice to look nice. It feels nice to be in nice spaces. It feels nice to scroll aesthetically pleasing Instagram pages. So if yours isn't that, and if you're not that, and you feel like that's something that's lacking in your life and in your social media presence, be open to change, mix it up, and yeah, go from there. Thanks again. You look amazing. And if you don't, I'm sure you will soon. And we'll chat soon. Big love, everyone. Enjoy your night. Cheers.